as a clip where I can share Festival Fridays. Skateboarding is such a humble industry, um, that even those who are at their peak in skateboarding, now it's becoming to a point where, yeah, they might get a little ego out of it. We see a little bit of that in maybe the highest of skaters right now, because they are getting that attention, but it doesn't last long. They're still pushed back into the place because skateboarding is all about innovation. So even at the peak, because it's humble, unlike basketball, where you can kind of rest on your laurels when you get to the peak, because you're becoming a billionaire. So you're not going to really be saying, hey, how do we push basketball forward? Unless you're slightly disenfranchised. I think it was Tracy McGrady, right, who started that whole other league. And you see certain people pushing to start these other leagues. That's almost pushing it forward, but kind of just a replication and an expansion of skills that they don't really actually have. But let's focus back on skateboarding, because they resist that as well. That's why you can start your own brand as a skater, but you better be ready to go, because they're not going to give you any slack, and you can't slack, or else you're going to see slack in there. Skaters are forced to continue pushing. You look at someone like Paul Rodriguez and what he's doing with his primitive skate park, and why that brand is taking over Southern California. And he's still progressing. Now, what I'll say though is that is a little bit of an expansion on him, right? But still, he has to get out there and film skate tricks, and they're competing against each other in the art of innovation. And as soon as they start slacking, Nyjah, he was kind of at the top, slipped a little bit, didn't win the Olympics, and then this kid, Jin Woo, comes out in X Games, completely changes the game. Now what are these guys going to do? 13-year-old just showed you, and the thing is, I think kids actually have an advantage on the innovation of skating because they have small bodies. A big body thrown down a set of stairs. I don't think skaters should be going down sets of stairs. Cut it out. Unless you're covered head to toe in pads. What are you talking about? No way, Jose. It is not necessary for you to be doing that kind of stuff. But anyway, this kid comes out, he innovated, and now what are we going to see happen? But skating at least is close to an industry where innovation reaches its peak. But the real thing that does that right now, other than back to God, because I hope humans aren't up to that much. I hope you know that. That's what I'm assuming when I talk to you this passionately, because if you don't know that, then you're going to take this too far. But marketing and business is another area where people do a lot of innovation. The only problem I have with marketing and business is it's not real. You're just capitalizing on the expansiveness of the human reality right now, right? So there's people who don't know Chinese, but they know English, right? That creates an imbalance, right? And that trade alone creates wealth. Trade creates wealth in the margins, right? And the margins is what marketing and business is all about. Margins. You don't get to keep the value. Someone goes to the store and they buy a tomato. Not only do you not get the dollar, because someone else has to go plant that seed. The farmer made the tomato, so he gets the money for the tomato. The guy who gets the tomato gets the tomato. Everybody else is making money in between. That's why there's 500 people, because they've all invented ways to get their butts in between what we're doing, which is almost why, I'm putting marketing at the bottom of innovation. Marketing business is not innovation. It's a bare minimum. It's supposed to be a service that you do along with creating your thing. But farmers said, you know what? All I want to do is look at the dirt. I don't want to worry about Nancy and Nancy's kids, and if Nancy's kids are getting a balanced diet, and if they're going to have a regular supply of tomatoes. And so, because the farmer didn't want to care about Nancy the way that Nancy needed to be cared about, and where was Nancy's husband? Can we talk about that? Where the freak was Nancy's husband? In this, I'm just joking. But so marketers come in between because they care. They can They care, and so they make business, but they don't really care. And that's why, in ancient Japanese society, business people and merchants were looked at as below farmers, because they were looked at, and artists were looked at as below them, because you're making money off of the margins. I feel like they kind of messed up on the artist thing, but because you're not doing anything, you're not creating anything. There's people who make stuff, and there's people who buy the stuff that they make. Everybody else is in between making money, thinking that you're sitting up there in your tower doing all this stuff, writing on papers, doing all these things, and then you take 15% of the deal. Now, to be honest, I don't think I have a real problem with that. I think maybe we need that. In order to grow and to do more amazing things. Would I be able to have this Japanese style hoodie right now if that wasn't going on? No. But guess what? I'd probably have a hoodie that said my family name on it. I probably would if I didn't have this, because I wouldn't be out here doing nothing. That's for sure. But anyway, that little burst was on innovation. Let's get back into some vids. Let's get back